beautiful earth angels, light warriors, welcome back to today's channeled message for you. Came through last night, but I was going to sleep, so I was like, perfect for this morning. This is really cool. It's all about how, sorry, I'm just getting my flower to show you guys again. It'd be rude not to, because this one has beautiful energy. You guys are chosen ones, and this sounds pretty crazy, right? And I'm not gonna lie, for a while, because I've heard this before, I just never resonated with it, but Spirit brought it to me in a way that I resonate with, a way that I understand, and how there are chosen ones here on earth, but it's not necessarily in an ego way. It's in a way that you're chosen because you've chosen oneness, chosen one. You've chosen oneness. You are the one who has chosen. You are the chosen one because you have chosen oneness, okay? And this is all about how you are embracing, breaking down the barriers and walls to create oneness of open space within the heart, right? The mind and soul. The same walls created by rules, labels, limitations, social constructs, social matrices, and conditionings, expectations of who you are and how you should act or what you should be. That is why you are a chosen one, because the chosen ones are on a path to oneness, to become one united being within themselves and without themselves. Chosen ones are people who have chosen a different path to the unconscious collective, right? Because the chosen ones have decided that they want to break out of the matrices, which is the systems, the social constructs, like everything I listed just then, like how we should and shouldn't act, what's expected of us. You have chosen oneness, which is breaking down those barriers inside the mind and inside the emotional space. Because these barriers are like, oh, I want to do this, but barrier, I can't because people are going to think I'm weird. Or barrier, I can't because of this thing that would be, you know what I mean, this concept that would mean that I would be seen in this way or that way, right? All these constructs built up that you have chosen to break down. You have chosen oneness, and this means that inside of yourself you are creating an open space and plane, one where there are no walls, blocks, and barriers, right? You are dissolving separation within inside yourself, because lower vibrations are necessary for us, but they cause separation, okay? Guilt, shame, hatred, right? All these things causing separation, which is really just disconnect. It's emotional disconnect. So what you have chosen is to heal and is to emotionally reconnecting yourself with all of the world, emotionally connecting yourself with those around you to see all through the eyes of love and oneness, right? Because the chosen ones have chosen oneness, which means they're choosing love. Oneness is love. That oneness is that understanding that we are all the same conscious collective. That oneness is understanding that we are all connected, right? We are all interacting with ourselves, mirrors of each other. So I don't know, this resonated with me a bit more, so I'm glad the angels brought it to me, because you guys, yeah, you are the chosen ones, and it's because you have chosen. So because you have chosen yourself as well, second part, not just you've chosen oneness, but you've chosen yourself, right? There's a lot of unconscious people, and I don't mean to segregate, right, because this goes against the oneness, but there's people working from unconscious aspects who have not chosen themselves. So they have not chosen oneness, and they are living in the matrix of cages, inner cages. They can't act how they want to act. They can't be who they want to be, make the choices they want to make, right? They're still fighting that battle. But you guys, you have chosen yourself, which means you have made hard decisions. You've made sacrifices. You've chosen yourself, which means you've cut off toxic connections. On the other hand of what we were just talking about, they haven't cut off toxic connections, whether this Okay, we have an unconscious energy coming in through here. 505, yeah. But anyway, regardless, you guys have cut off connections that you feel like were draining your energy or did not align with you. You've chosen oneness, you've chosen yourself. So you've chosen the self. So that's you, the universe, choosing yourself. So you have chosen yourself. That's why you're a chosen one, because you have chosen yourself, because you see deeper through what is really happening here. You're seeing deeper the real aim and game of this life. Like we said, that's the oneness, dissolving that separation, seeing through the eyes of understanding, using everything to learn and grow and to further become one with yourself. You're meeting yourself at deeper depths and levels every single day. So you guys have chosen yourself in whatever way that feels to you, because you guys have made harder choices, took harder paths, which means you've taken the paths that scared you. You've taken paths that were using blind faith, like we were talking about in one of the last readings. You've chosen paths that required blind faith, right? By choosing yourself. Choosing the self is one of the hardest things that we get put through doing, because ultimately we can feel the self in other people. So we get really attached to the self that we feel in other people sometimes, and we become attached to that as if their self is a part of our self, right? Maybe this is like years ago, the cycle that you were in is like you chose yourself after being in a kind of connection with somebody, whether that was family, romantic, friends, platonic, like whatever this was. You saw a part of yourself in them, and this was a deep connection. This was like you chose yourself, but it was hard because you saw yourself inside of them, and you grew attached to the self that was inside of them, right? Trying to help that self inside of them, or the self that you were always connecting to inside of them was always the self that you could find in yourself, right? It's almost how I'm seeing this is like someone seeing themselves in another, in a weird way, whether it felt like this or not. And it was like, yeah, we're drawn to them, we want to heal them and all this. And then it's kind of like, actually, I've just realized that what I'm seeing in them, what I feel from them, what I get from them, the energy that you get from them is also the same energy found within the self. So this is also about the journey in connections, about choosing the self in a way that you're finding self-happiness, peace, and independence, because you guys have chosen the self in a way you don't rely on anyone else for your peace, for your happiness, right? It's like, not that we're pushing away connection or anything. Like, some of you are in healthy, beautiful, divine connections. Some of us are still figuring it out. But either way, we're happy. We're actually happy because we've learned to find the self within us. Because we're so good at finding the self in everyone else, because the self is the conscious part. The self is people's higher self. It's their conscious aspects. It's their soul, the feeling of their soul. And you guys see straight through people, right to the feeling of their soul. But it's only been through, not only, but there was like recently, like this is like after you've always been able to see that beautiful side of self in others, always seeing the best in others. But then became the time to see the best in yourself. And that was crazy, because once you find the self, oh my God, you're never alone. Like, you guys have such a deep connection to your inner world. And this is why you guys keep looping back around, choosing oneness, choosing healing, because all the experiences and journeys that you've been through were these type of profound healing discovery journeys. And discovery, curiosity, learning, growing, healing, that became something intrinsically part of your soul. And that is the path you continue to choose. You continue to choose the self. And when we choose the self, It's not only in like relationships and things like that, it's in everyday life. Choosing the self when it comes to boundaries, our frame, saying no, choosing the self when it comes to taking up space, choosing the self when it comes to standing in our authenticity and our power. This whole ripple effect of choosing the self weaves into every aspect of our lives. And you guys have chosen the self, and you, yourself, are embodiment of the collective consciousness of the universe. So yes, the universe has chosen you because you've chosen yourself, okay? And you've chosen oneness. So namaste. I love you all so much. Just know that you're on a beautiful path. I just really like tuning into this flower recently. I've grown really emotionally attached to it. I don't know if we can start having cycles with plants, like, you know, when you meet a person and they kind of reflect back a cycle for you. Well, I met this plant, and this plant is reflecting back a cycle for me, because every time I look at it, you know what, I'm scared to lose it because I love it so much. And that is a cycle, isn't it? I'm scared for it to go, for it to leave, because I love it so much. I feel so emotionally connected to it. But that's a whole cycle in itself, you know. Trying to let go, letting go of that attachment, to love it in the here and now and appreciate moments for what they are, because nothing really lasts forever, you know. But that's what makes it so special. That's what gives it its specialness, because the depth of love is also a coin to the fear of losing, right? And that's not always the case, you know. Once we kind of go through it and we understand, like, we're always going to feel that sadness of loss sometimes, but you know, it's really about appreciating it in the here and now, so much so that we're not fearing the loss, because we're not over in ahead in those timelines. We're just here in the present, you know, because we can handle whatever comes to us, whatever we have to deal with. We can handle that, we can get through that. But there's no point living in the future when we have beautiful things in the now, right? Sometimes we can ruin the now by fears of the future, right? So this is a message. Don't ruin the now by fears of the future, right? Like, this is beautiful. Let's appreciate it now in this very day and this very moment. So you guys, yeah, chosen ones, I love you so much. Carry on choosing yourself. You're amazing. And I'll speak to you in the next message.